Welcome to On the Spot Review. I'm going to talk about It Chapter 2. It Chapter 1 came out a few years ago. It was a solid movie. It was fun. It was like kind of a good balance between genuine horror stuff that seemed eerie and off-putting, while it had some generic horror stuff that, whatever, had a good balance to it. It wasn't my favorite horror movie, but it was at least somewhat fun to watch. Chapter 2 is a huge degrade in quality. I feel like that Chapter 2 was really disappointing for this kind of movie. Uh, the story is solid. It has a good beat to it almost. It just got degraded over the quality of everything else. Like it just seemed like they had a good draft of what they wanted, and then the stuff that they put together just didn't really work out. The acting just felt kind of cheesy and lame. Like it's not cheesy in a good way. It's just cheesy, like it's bad. This is gonna be a minor spoiler. I'll get into spoilers later in this video, but this is a very minor one. Like James McAvoy, there's a scene where they kind of drug James McAvoy to kind of have him see some origin story or whatever. So he's like leading into it, and he's like, oh man, and it just seemed very like you're just telling a person, hey, you're drugged and you're just gonna be walking around, man. Just act like you're drugged, man. And it just didn't have any direction. It just seemed very odd. Like he just was just bumbling around, and not bumbling like an actual the person who's like hallucinating, but just like he's consciously trying to. It's like it's just really weird. It just came off odd to me. It's just, I mean, that to me, I guess it's a nitpick, but it just was like really off putting, and I just didn't care about that scene either. But overall, like even if you don't look at that scene, the acting still feels kind of uh, half-assed in some ways. Like they felt like they kind of half cared. I think the only good actors in this movie was the guy who played Mike and Pennywise. Those were the only two good actors. Everyone else just kind of was there. The guy who I don't remember this actor's name, but he's in the HBO series Barry. I kind of like that actor. He's kind of like funny. He's good in comedic roles like Barry and shit. But this just feels like just he was there for a paycheck almost. Like I don't really think he cared either. A lot of actors it's kind of had that impression. Some of the scenes were also like lazy as well, like, and it dragged. So that stuff kind of degraded it. The other stuff that really was just a huge disappointment to me, and this kind of was where the movie started to go on a downward uh, uh, speed, like was going just going downward direction. Was just the jump scares were just all lazy and they felt the same. Like every jump scare felt like it was following the same formula over and over and over. Okay, we're gonna have a character walk into a room. He's gonna look at something. The camera's gonna pan to the character, pan away, pan to the character again, pan away, pan to the character, pan away, pan to the character. Boom! Jump scare, sharp instrument cue, and pop up or whatever. And it kept doing that for every single scene that had a jump scare. And when they started kept, oh my god, when they kept doing that over and over and over, it really degraded the scene. Like the scene from the trailer, for example, the first trailer where they had the girl character, can't remember these characters' names unfortunately, but um, she goes to this little apartment with this old lady, and it's very eerie and like creepy, and it was fun. It was like a good scene, and then like they do that jump scare, and they show you the monster, pretty much, and the trailer was good. It felt like it was very well structured, and then it feels like somewhere along the lines when they were doing the movie, they reshot it. Like it felt worse than the movie. Like it's filmed the same way, but like I don't know what it was. Like it just seemed like the monster just got degraded in the scene. Like everything played the same, but then like when the old lady transformed, she seemed more like cheap and kind of not as good as she did in that trailer. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's just me, but it just didn't seem like it was the same scene from the trailer. It's like they filmed the trailer scene first. That was like the first footage they had, and then they refilmed it again in the movie for some reason. I don't know. Uh, so I kept doing a lot of that, which was not really unique at all anymore, and it just didn't have a good balance anymore. There wasn't anything really genuinely creepy in this movie. There were some scenes that were like almost like that, but then they just kind of like it just didn't pay off. Like there's no payoff to these jump scares in this movie. Like it just kind of happens, and then once it happens, you're just kind of like, okay. Like they get a jump out of you because it just has a sharp like going out, and it's like a cheap way to do it, and that got a little annoying. I was getting like a little bit like pissed off about it, and then the movie I was just like, this is fucking annoying at this point. Like just fucking move on. Uh, so now we'll get into some spoiler territory. So if you haven't seen the movie, go watch it, I guess, and come back. But I think it's a waste of time. The other issue with it chapter 2 is that it drags and drags and drags and drags. It started to feel a lot like Avengers Endgame in that part in that movie where they do the time heist in Endgame, and that to me was like really where then we started to drag. Here, it's just that. It's like, okay, we gotta find the tokens. Okay, they look for the tokens. Oh man, jump scare, flashback, and it just I didn't give a fuck about. The flashbacks seemed kind of weak. I didn't care about the flashbacks. It just seemed whatever. Uh, no, I didn't. I haven't read the book, so I'm not gonna really go compare this to the book and how it handles scenes. Unfortunately, for if you guys are fans of the book, but it's just as a movie, like I just don't think it stands up very well. Like if you sit through a movie and you don't care about these flashbacks and you don't care about them getting their tokens and it just follows the formula, why the fuck would you care? Like all that movie just became formulaic. Once they started finding the tokens, it was just the same scene, and that to me was the biggest waste of time. I hate when movies do that where you're just sitting there and it's like, oh, we're doing this, okay, and I just didn't care, and I just kept looking at my watch half the time, and it's like if you watch a movie and you get to the point where you're looking at your watch and the scares were just not even rewarding, as I said before. Like it just seemed like that they were just kind of throwing scares in, and it just got in the way of a lot of the tone as well. Like there's a scene where I can't remember the character's name, the germaphobe guy, goes to the pharmacy to get some drugs. He goes to the basement for some reason. I don't know how he just ends up there, and he sees like the zombie guy, and then the zombie like and you know the build up to that scene is decent. Like it still left some questions where it's like why is he down there? Like in the flashback they showed him why he went down there, but here it's like he's just there. Okay. So he's like, okay, he's going down here. It's eerie, has a good build up, and then it just kind of kills itself with the zombie. As soon as he sees the zombie like kind of vomits on him, and it plays Morning Angel, and it's just like, it is what? Like and I was watching that, and I actually I literally like did an audible what? Like it was just like so weird that they built up this scene and then they just played Morning Angel. It's like who directed this? Who wanted this in the scene? Like it just makes no sense. It's like they were making this movie and they realized, wait a second, guys, we could be like Deadpool, guys. Let's throw Morning Angel in here. And it's like, why are we throwing Morning Angel in the scene? And why do we need this comedic tone all of a sudden? Because they also did a comedic one-liner where the character stabs the bully, and as he's walking out, he's like, "Oh man, you should cut that mullet. It's not the '90s anymore, or whatever." And it's just like, why, just why? I mean, this has a lot of like tonal issues with it. Like the stuff with Pennywise is like okay, it's not bad, but even those scenes that seem formulaic. He has to be in one scene. He has to say something to the kids. He has to do this to them. And it just seemed kind of lame. And then when they all split up in the second movie, that also feels kind of forced. Like, oh, well, it just happens. This guy wants to go get away. The other guy's gonna try to talk him to staying. Oh man, the kid I saw at my house, I gotta go to the circus to get him. Why don't we get everyone else to do it? No, man, I gotta go, man. Okay, later. And then it just fell apart. The one scene I kind of liked was they tried to explain the origin of it, which was fine. Like, okay, it came from outer space. I mean, that's decent way to explain what it is. But uh, even that, I just kind of wish we saw it a little bit better because it was done in like this trippy way. And it's like I would like to see like the actual spaceship coming down. I would like to see what it originally looked like. I thought that would be kind of cool, but whatever. Uh, and then it got to the ending, near the end, at least the climax of the movie, and that was the worst part of the movie for me. I was just wanting it to end. Like they do the ritual. Oh, you gotta like sing "Kumbaya" by the spaceship. They sing "Kumbaya" by the spaceship, and it doesn't do anything. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, "Okay, are we done yet? Like I don't want to watch this anymore. Like I started to clock out after that because you were sitting through so much shit, and to get to that part as especially um was just so fucking much, and it's like I just want to go home. I just want to leave. I don't want to like, and I wanted to watch the rest of the movie. Obviously, I didn't want to just kind of leave it at near the end, but it was just dragging and dragging and dragging. And I was like, I don't care anymore. Just fucking wrap it up. And then like they had the final battle, and then once you do that, it still felt like it dragged. Like, okay, they beat him. Okay, whatever. It's still kind of the same scene from the first movie, but whatever. They beat him. They kill him. And then after that, okay, they gotta get out of there. Okay, well, we gotta leave. Okay, and it's like, yeah, I get that a movie needs an epilogue, but it was at a time where everything was just, I just couldn't take it anymore. I wanted to leave, and it just kept going and going and going. I hated it. The movie was so fucking bad. I'm really disappointed with It Chapter 2. Like, I can't fucking believe that they made a good first movie and then the second movie was so fucking bad. There was a lot of errors, I think, in the movie as well. Like, uh, they had this scene where these two characters were like drowning or whatever, and they were cutting between them, and then like they cut back to one character, they showed the other character for like a split second, and it's like this doesn't seem genuine. It seemed like that this was a legit mistake. So it seemed that there was a lot of crunch time in the editing room. It seemed like they filmed enough to fill the time, but then when it came to editing, they were just kind of just squeezing stuff out. I would give this a 5 out of 10. It is not worth checking out. If you really want to see it, go right ahead. I thought this was a gigantic waste of time. I really cannot believe this is the movie we got after waiting for it, and it's really disappointing. Uh, Sorry I could not review a good movie on the spot review, but it is what it is, dude. So thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time.